On 21st February 1995, George Graham, the manager, who had led Arsenal to 6 trophies in 8 seasons, was sacked. After an inquiry found he had received bribes totaling more than 400,000 euros from the transfers that took John Jensen and Paul Lindesten to Highbury. Adding insult to the injury came the news of Arsenal's players gambling and alcohol addiction. A club which was running successfully in that direction started halting in every difficulty they would face, from European glory to trophyless season, sacking of 4 managers in 2 seasons. With the necessity of a change, Arsenal's vice chairman David Dane went to Johan Cruyff. But after a bypass surgery, Cruyff had no intention of coming back to coaching. Then came Arsène Wenger, a firm believer in footballing purity, philosopher and a perfectionist who was already successful in Japan and France, but now in the toughest land of football. Wenger's idea was new, but he showed character by implementing his beliefs, desires and commitments at Arsenal and making them what they are today.
The sake will keep him tied until the end of this month, then he'll officially...
At first, there were many doubts about Wenger's approach among his players and the media. Club captain Tony Adams said, "At first I thought, what does this Frenchman know about football? He wears glasses and looks more like a school teacher. He's not going to be as good as George. Does he even speak English properly?" The London Evening Standard even headlined Arsène Who, but nothing bothered him that much. He used to rely on more scientific training methods rather than typical English lackadaisical techniques. Every training was timed with a stopwatch. There was more stretching rather than simple running drills. His idea was that every session should involve the ball. There was a lot of 8v8 training. If anyone had 2 touches, the next one had to go forward. Otherwise, it would have been a free kick. Arsenal used to train in a rented ground at London University, a setup which was designed for students, not elite athletes. Sometimes the players had to leave the pitches so that the students could play. A sudden fire in 1996 broke out at Arsenal's then training ground, which made it easier for Arsène to campaign for a new facility which was financed by Nicolas Anelka's transfer to Real Madrid. Diet, nutrition have become normal in today's world, but in the 90s, it was not the case. Arsenal used to serve typical English breakfast to their players. There was a tradition of eating Mars bars after the match. Wenger completely banned this. On their way against Blackburn, the players were shouting, "We want our Mars bars" in the bus. Club cafeteria had replaced burgers and chips with fish or mashed potatoes. It was famously known as his Evian broccoli diet, inspired by his time in Japan, which helped to save careers of many players like Nigel Winterburn, Tony Adams, Lee Dixon and Steve Bolt. George Graham had his famous back four, which was the pillar of his success, but that led to the chant of a boring Arsenal, which Wenger adapted brilliantly by adjusting more attacking flair. Dennis Bergkamp was already there. In his first season, Wenger bought Patrick Vieira and Nicolas Anelka. Vieira went on to become an Arsenal legend. In 1998, Wenger signed Freddie Ljungberg from Hampstead for a fee of 3 million, which was a Swiss record then. Ljungberg was another pillar of Arsenal's success, winning 2 EPLs, 3 FA Cups and 1 Charity Shield. After Anelka's departure in 1999, Wenger gave a masterstroke by signing Thierry Henry. He was already aware of his talent after coaching him at Monaco. Henry failed to score his first 8 games in his new position, but Arsène had faith, and Henry finished his first season with a very respectable total of 26 goals. He then went on to win the Golden Boot 4 times and score a total of 228 goals at Arsenal, a club record. After a stiff competition with Real Madrid and Juventus, Arsenal signed Robert Pires from Marseille. Wenger referred to him as one of the greatest left wingers in the world. On 17th May 2004, young Robin van Persie was signed as a replacement for Dennis Bergkamp. After spending most of the time on bench, he started against Manchester City and scored the opening goal in a 2-1 League Cup victory. The Flying Dutchman was an integral part of Arsenal, scoring a total of 96 goals in 194 appearances. He has won a FA Cup, FA Community Shield and Premier League Golden Boot in 2011-12 for Arsenal. Giving players chances from a young age and developing them with the right philosophy to make them ready for the first team was always Wenger's philosophy, rather than buying star players. At a young age, winning is not the most important thing. The important thing is to develop creative and skilled players with good confidence, Arsène Wenger stated. Theo Walcott, Cesc Fabregas, Hector Bellerin, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jack Wilshere all are the result of his youth recruitment.
Maybe a mixed blessing for Arsène Wenger. First game in
Arsenal was 6 years without winning the Premier League trophy when Wenger took charge. In his first season, he guided the team to a third-place finish after Manchester United and Newcastle United, their highest ever league finish since 1992. In his second season, he led Arsenal to the Premier League glory, which cemented his place in the history of Arsenal forever. Arsenal won the league and the FA Cup in the 1997-98 season, their first double since 1971. Arsène Wenger became the first overseas manager to do so. Then came another double in 2001-2.
Arsène Wenger completes a league and FA Cup double for the second time, thanks to Sylvain Wiltor's winner.
Arsenal went 21 games unbeaten that season, winning 15 of their last 16 games. On 4th May 2002, Arsenal won 2-0 against Chelsea to win the FA Cup for the second time. 4 days later, they beat Manchester United to win the Premier League, courtesy of a goal from Sylvain Wiltord. This was the Frenchman's second ever double at Arsenal. His journey at Highbury was going very well, but the peak was yet to come. After winning the FA Cup and finishing runners-up in 2002-03, Arsenal started their 2003-04 league campaign against Everton in a 2-1 victory at Highbury, ended the campaign unbeaten with 26 wins and 12 draws, a feat which was achieved 115 years ago.
May the 15th, 2004, history has been made. One of the greatest achievements since English football began. Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. The first time it's happened for over 100 years.
After the victory against Leicester City, which completed Arsenal's unbeaten season, the Guardian writer Kevin Mitchell labelled Arsène Wenger the most astute manager in the Premier League. He went on to win the FA Cup a further 4 times and the Charity Shield on 7 different occasions. His rivalry with Sir Alex Ferguson was becoming more fierce as over the 6 seasons from 1998 to 2004, both Arsenal or Manchester United finished either first or second in the table. In his first decade at the club, Wenger left no stone unturned, but the league's landscape started changing when Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich purchased Chelsea for 140 million in 2003. With the infusion of cash and Jose Mourinho's leadership, Chelsea won the league in 2004-5 and 5-6.
I think I'm a special one.
To compete with more such bankrolled clubs, Arsenal decided to build a stadium at the Ashburton Grove named Emirates. Wenger agreed to this, little bit of knowing what was coming in the next decade. With the financial burden and restrictions on his shoulder, he failed to replace players like Henry, Bergkamp, Ljungberg, Vieira, which saw him never win a Premier League again in his Arsenal career. Despite finishing top 4 and qualifying for the UEFA Champions League, Arsenal saw a barren stretch of 9 years without a trophy, which definitely is a black mark in his trophy-laden career. Though this tale is defaced with failures and some Wenger-out slogans, 3 EPLs, 7 FA Cups and 7 Community Shields surely makes it a fairy tale. On November 13, 2019, Arsène Wenger was appointed as the Chief of Global Football Development by FIFA, overseeing and driving the growth and development of the sport for both men and women around the world as his duty. It's a tribute to the man indeed. The mid-1990s and early 2000s was the time of globalization in football, and being a part of one of the world's most famous leagues, Lee Professor helped Arsenal to reach the global level. Wenger used to arrange pre-season friendlies across the world. Arsenal visited 54 different countries including China, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam in Asia. Most of them happened in Wenger era. As a result of this global approach, the figures are listed in the toppers board. 17.5 million on Twitter, 37 million on Facebook, 19.4 million on Instagram, and which probably makes the Gunners 10th most followed football team in the world. 80% of their followers are from abroad. This not just helps the club in a commercial and financial way, but also makes an emotional bonding around the globe. This is the new era. This is global club. This is the club that has a duty towards the world fans. Arsène Wenger said in the Wenger Revolution. From Arsène Who to the best manager in the history of Arsenal, this is a journey. A journey from almost nowhere through changing players, diets, success, not just against teams but also difficulties. Arsène Wenger, the man who changed Arsenal. This is the saga of Arsenal and Arsène Wenger. Consider your subscription with a thumbs up, click the bell icon and please share the video. Do follow us on social media handles. Thank you for joining the Centre Back, reminding you why you love football.